Ah! That-
Oh,
Woo! Sagrona everybody, for the last time. Oh, that hurts.
sad.
That hurts to say. Hurts to say. But we toast to your health anyway. Welcome to not another Imperial mining disaster, everybody. The Imperial Senate Podcast's Andor coverage show. Now that we are here, finally at the last arc. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Show's over. Show's over.
End of an era.
Yeah, and what a show it was. We'll break down episodes. I didn't hear anything for what it's worth, so you're gonna have to explain that noise.
There is a thunderstorm going on, so
okay.
hopefully my power doesn't go out, but it is brewing. So
Hold it down,
ominous, setting the tone for this finale.
It's almost like the story doesn't end like dramatically sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh my, we're here on May 19th. Claire is right here with me. I'm Nicky, of course. Claire, it's May 19th, 2025. Exactly.
It's a big day.
Years ago. Exactly 20 years ago. Revenge of the Sith came out, and if I'm not mistaken, there was a Phantom Menace. The 19th is also associated with the Phantom
It's also
Menace.
Phantom Menace, yes.
Okay, so we got a double up here.
You got a double anniversary.
26 for, is that right? Yeah, 26 for Phantom. 20 for Sith. Crazy. I don't like it. I mean, I love it because it means we've lived for 20 something more years. But yeah, how do you feel? We'll stick with Sith. But how do you feel about 20 years of Revenge of the Sith?
I gotta say, went to go see it in the theaters a couple weeks ago for May the 4th, and aged like a fine wine, baby.
Yeah.
Aged like a fine wine. It's still an absolutely epic, operatic masterpiece. And I will be taking no arguments or follow up on that because that's what it is. Yeah. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I think I was really glad at how well it, like, I mean, maybe it's a stupid comment because like they're all good when you see them in a theater.
Yeah.
But like I was a little bit like, oh, that still feels like really grand. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it when I got to see it as well. And yeah, I can't believe it. And it is kind of it's a good episode to sort of be in the loop as well, because we see our little baby Death Star being constructed, and now fast forward to last week, and Star kind of the big deal. And so yeah, it's a nice sort of, you know, synthesis of these two eras of Star Wars meeting at a not great point, but you know, it's something easy to rally around, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. Well, welcome everybody to the live show. Of course, throw in some comments, throw in some questions.
Let us know what you think. You got something you want us to talk about? Throw it in the chat.
Absolutely. Unless it's bad, then we will not talk about it. But,
be nice, folks.
But also, one thing I'll say also is I've had a very busy week, so I haven't revisited these episodes as much as I would have liked. So if there is something that we are forgetting, also
throw it out there.
Some lightning fingered people will come in and say, "You messed up," which is the internet's primary function, I believe. Telling people when they did wrong. That is the internet's finest work.
Truly.
But yeah, let's freaking jump right in.
Let's do it, dude.
We are 1 year later. BBY1. I think at least I had to shift the way I perceive years in Star Wars, because I thought we would go to BBY 0 to walk into Rogue One. But then I remember it's not year dating, it's event dating. So I think Yavin is 0. And everything else is 1. So that was something I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. I've seen the light. But yeah, we're here. We're a year out from Gorman massacre, Mon Mothma's sort of liberation from the Senate floor, and a lot's gone on. I think episode 10 is, I think, should rightly go down as one of the special episodes of not only the show but shows, and also, but fuck it, like just TV in general.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really epic, and pulled at so many little threads and heartstrings, and it was really moving. I really didn't think like I was expecting to sit down for. So yeah, I guess, basic things. It starts with Lonnie. He's got some stuff to say. This feels dangerous. Luthen and Claire know it feels dangerous, but they go anyway and they learn some stuff. How did you feel about this sort of like opening little section of how sort of like dire it all felt?
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, we got 3 episodes. We have a full arc to get through. No, we're going to start right off of the bat introducing my existential dread. And my immediate pit in my stomach, the second that he started talking about being burned, I was like, and you're dead. You're dead. You're dead. One of them's going to get you. One side or the other. Who's gonna be? Who's gonna pick? No, but there's no way Luthen can risk this guy getting captured by the ISB. We're in it. We're in deep right off the bat. And like there's something, as Rogue One being my favorite Disney Star Wars, there is something that literally like is electricity in my veins when it's just like Jedha, Kyber, Urso. I was like, oh, all the buzzwords.
Right.
Oh, they're saying all the words.
Yep.
Sure. I'm shorting out. Yeah, I just it right off the bat, we're like, oh no, we are firing all cylinders. We're cooking with some gas, guys. Oh
yeah, for sure.
Geez.
Because Lonnie is not only burned, he's Mustafa'd. He's like, because he found the secret stash. I think that's sort of the instigator of like
the why secret did stash.
This... Yeah.
Ooh, hey, don't be grounded.
But also because he has a mustache.
He needed some. He needed some of somebody's secret stash. I mean,
that's for sure too. But yeah, it's like he found the everything about the Death Star that was available, I suppose, to him through Dedra's file, and just I think that sort of like the pit in the stomach feeling when it's like, oh, this isn't just another intel drop. This isn't just about Miro thinks she's onto you.
Yeah,
this is like I found the thing, like the big project. Yeah,
the thing.
Whole new meaning to heartburn here. As Chris points out.
Gotta burn his chest for his troubles.
Yeah. And it's like, it's that immediate, like, oh shit. And
we're in it.
And then in that, it's like, oh, we're flooring it too.
This is the moment.
That was another thing. Yeah. Like
this is the really moment. You guys gotta go now.
Exactly. Like now. I was really surprised how fast it accelerated.
Yes, me too.
Right. And so yeah, I think there was just that feeling of like, oh my gosh, we're in 0 hour, like it's time, and they kind of know it, and they do their split, and Clea, they break out from protocol by the sound of it, because Clea was supposed to do comms, but I think Luthen probably knew. Yeah, he knew it was too close, so it's got to be him. Which leads us to go ahead.
Quick little tangent question. Chris Malik reacts, asks, rewatching Rogue One after Andor season 1 and 2 is a cinematic experience. Have y'all rewatched it yet? No, and I am frightened.
Yeah.
I will be unwell. Very much unwell. I'm gonna do a full series rewatch and then do that when I have a moment. But I'm fine. It's gonna be fine.
It's funny. So like I actually did watch it.
Did you?
Yeah, and there were actually more things that I thought would be ironed out that actually weren't.
Oh, interesting.
And created a few like new bumps. Like, so part of me is like, maybe I need a little more distance, but
maybe
I think it's one of those things where it's like for the things that they did iron out, it's like really strong to the point to where it's like those other little things I thought were a little like weirder. Like they weren't as like sort of damaging in that regard because the good things are really high. So it's like, for just really briefly, like I thought it was a little strange walking out of the Andor finale and sort of Cassian's journey with that council.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like, I gotta follow the orders. And like without having like a little, I feel like even Andor could have corrected that massaging a little. It's almost like it didn't quite feel like he would go from Luthen died for this information to I just got to shoot Gainer. So like those are like the things that I think didn't quite smoothen out the way I thought would. But
I could see that.
I'll give it another shot. Yeah, I'll give it another shot, see if it feels different. But yeah, it is really cool that we have that ability though to watch it straight through. Like that is a very nice click of the puzzle.
It's gonna make, like, I always cry at the end of Rogue One. I've seen it 9,000 times and I still will not end that movie with dry eyes. I will not.
Right.
I'm now gonna be very physically unwell. I can't wait. Yeah. It's gonna be great.
I'll say another thing
awesome.
Another thing that really worked for me. Again, this is why the strengths outweigh the new bumps.
Mm-hmm.
I like rewrote I was able to insert a scene into Rogue One, my Rogue One headcanon, using Andor material that connects like so much of that movie for me. I won't go into details now. We can wait till the end. But interesting. But it's like, for me, this like little piece of something, I was like, if I can in my head believe that happened, then it got really powerful for me in a different way. So we can talk about that when we're sort of at the end. But yeah, no, it's really cool.
Tasty morsel for later.
Yeah. But let's jump right into back where we were, which was incredible scene between Luthen Rail and Dedra Meero face to face. How do you even summarize how you felt when she walked through the door?
I felt like when she dropped that Imperial Starpath unit on the table, I felt like that was in my stomach and it just dropped into my butt. Like immediately. But in classic Luthen fashion, there was some incredible dialogue in that scene. Incredible. She's asking about anything in this room is it all real? She's like, there's only 2 fakes. Which one can you spot? Yeah, it's you and me, girly. Implied it's you and me, girly. But like, brilliant. And just her being like, I've been trying to find you all this time, and he's just like, oh, that's so funny. I've known you. I know you very well this whole time. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it's just as sharp as you would imagine it. Like,
brilliant.
As like whatever, and I think even that was like, I still couldn't believe we were here, kind of thing.
I know. It was
because like they walk in and it is that like fake pleasantry, and then you're like, okay, how much like there's that little bit of hope that she doesn't quite know yet. Like maybe there's still something like she doesn't quite know, and maybe Luthen still got a way out of this, and it's like there's that tiny bit, and you're like, okay, how long can this keep going? Again, just that same line you mentioned about the the two of questionable standing or whatever.
There it is. Yeah.
And it's just like, man, this is electric. And then she reveals the Star Path unit, and that was one of the things where I was like, okay, is Luthen going to continue to play this, or is this just it? Is the game up? And he knows it and not gonna pretend. And watching that look on his face and like waiting to see what the next one was, and then a next one was coming. Like it was just the same one, and I was like, oh, this is like, we're here, we are here. And then it's like, just again, the dialogue between them, talking about motive, and that you disgust me, and the rebellion gone from here, or flown away from here, and there's a whole galaxy waiting, whole galaxy of people waiting to disgust you. Man, it was just it's such a brilliant, like, a way to get those stabs in at each other. And also for just how, again, like, the point of Star Wars villainy especially is stupid arrogance. Like, people are always doing this, like, with like Last Jedi, and they're like, oh, why didn't they just like jump in front of them and like blow them up? It's like, because if they did that, then they would not be Star Wars villains.
Yes.
like they are arrogant beyond belief. Like, that is Dedra's downfall in this movie, in this story now, because she does go in, she engages, she pulls some strings, and she bends the rules in a way that is good for the Empire in catching Axis, but in doing it, she screws it up. She
jokes on her own aspirations, to quote a certain Lord Vader in the next part.
Absolutely. And she creates, she allows, people who are her enemies in the ISB to jump on it and throw her to the dogs, because that, again, that is how it works. That is how fascist power works, everybody. It's the people at the top.
Eat or be eaten.
Throw you. It's an exact mirror. It's an exact mirror of what we talked about with the green recruit soldiers in the Gorman Massacre. They were expendable, and now it's going up another rung.
Burn them.
Dedra's going to be expendable too. But, so Dedra's got him. It's not great, not looking great. And then she notices the acid burning the console.
Sizzle, motherfucker.
But Luthen's already played his hand, which again is another like brilliant move in the sort of writing and structuring of the scene, in that what he gives her is the dagger. He's got that handy, if it's gotta go down. And again, it's like that whole thing, like Dedra, it's proof she never understood him. It wasn't about chaos everywhere, so that you can do the. In turning her back on him, she totally misunderstood him and allowed him the chance. Exactly, she allowed him the chance to die for the cause, as he would, as he said he would. And so like, and that's where we are. Luthen uses the knife to do something. I don't know. It's never really specified. Like, stabbed in the chest.
I'm okay if him not seeing him disembowel himself. I'm judging on where the little medical skirt is on him later. The tummy, that's where you're gonna go? Also, that's brutal. That's brutal, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he tried to like go in the heart or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like low, whatever. It's not important.
He didn't do it right, though.
Yeah, he didn't.
And now we have a problem.
Yeah.
Damn Imperial medics.
Yeah, but then they get him to the hospital, which for High Republic fans out there is the Lena So Medical Center. Is a delightful little Easter egg.
Wait, it's the Lena So Medical Center?
It is indeed. Yeah.
How did I not catch that?
I think that I'm pretty sure I read that on the website.
Okay. That's why I didn't catch it.
Eggs. No, it's not. It's not in the show. Gilroy's no way am I putting your Easter egg.
No.
It's like you got to go find that elsewhere.
You got to fish for him.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's where they are. And then enter Clea. Clea has a job to do, and it's like, it's actually like it's really like kind of grim, because you get to see some of their thought process for the past, I don't even know how many years, because it's like these are like contingency plans they would have put in, I don't know how
Forever
long ago.
Yeah.
And watching her have to do this by herself and go to that apartment, and this is sort of like here, and his break the wall at some point.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's really
tap out your little
really
Morse code.
Yeah, exactly.
All while you mix it in with flashbacks of their past, right? Like that's
right. Which is the key to the scene, the whole episode, really. This is the both ending of Luthen and Clea's partnership and the beginning, the reveal of how it all came to function. So yeah, let's like jump right into that, because that's quite meaty as well. It starts pretty horrifically.
And literally the title of this episode is Make It Stop. That is the name of this episode, which is upsetting for every reason, not just because we start off seeing Luthen as an Imperial trooper of some sort, a sergeant of some Imperial variety, listening to this planet, these people get just massacred. And just the horrors of hearing what's going on outside and knowing that, jeez. It just, oh God.
No, it's really brutal, and it's one of those
brutal,
things
dude.
where, it's because it looks like, I think they intend to make him like a just sort of basic Imperial military, similar to like what Han was, in
Mimban
Solo,
or whatever,
of course, right? And so I think that's like kind of a great way to like handshake those two scenes as well, because like you have that thing where the Imperial guy's like, oh, and the hostiles are coming, and Han's like, we're in their place though.
Like, we're the hostiles.
Like we're the hostiles. Like, you know, and then now see it on this other side where it's like, yeah, they just been and wipe out planets and societies and whatever. And yeah, Sergeant Lear is having a bit of a crash out. And it's so wonderfully filmed as well through the eyes of little Clea, you know, it's that and yeah, I think that was something I really didn't expect that to be his story. That wasn't anything I was thinking of. I remember like perceiving Luthen as like I called him like Space Bruce Wayne. Like I thought he came from wealth, and like he was using his wealth to like fund his little operation or like give him cover from it, and it's like entirely different. And he was, you know, this kind of grunt type soldier who partook in the devastation of Clea's planet, and I guess through the horror of it, he sees her and decides, you know, it's to make it stop for him at least. And
time to defect.
And he's gonna take this girl with him. And so that's what they do. And yeah, it's just so brilliantly cut between all the little things, all the things Clea knows she has to do.
Yeah.
That Luke is under ISB guard in this hospital.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's probably like too many scenes to go like one by one, but like
so many.
There's key moments just throughout, and just the idea of their identities and who they are, and it's like, am I your daughter then?
Am I your daughter? Yeah. Oh, that hurt me. I was like, just say yes, Daddy Luthen. Just say yes. No, that's not the relationship you need to have. You can't get too attached. That's what he's been talking about. All of these people that have been recruited to the rebellion. If you create that kind of relationship, it's got to be kind of distant, because you're gonna have to kill your daddy figure potentially. And she did.
And yeah, it's like you know, and just seeing their first like act of interaction together
on Naboo, nonetheless. Stick
Naboo
it to the Emperor's
places.
home planet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yeah, it was just such a like whirlwind of emotion watching them do these things. and also the callback. So, like at the beginning of the episode, he tells her to move, and she kind of smiles, and you're like, okay. And then we get that scene where as she's a child, and she's like, when I tell you to move, you move.
You move.
And so it's like we get the information of that moment later, and that was really like brilliantly
well done. And it's just so like it's such like a conflicting relationship through all of these cutscenes, because obviously there's his companionship because they've been together since she was a kid, and he cares about her in some way. He knows that this is his path. And at every opportunity, they're literally having a little ice cream sundae on a beautiful, like looking out on the lake at Naboo, gorgeous. He's like, he gives her every opportunity. Like, you don't have to do this. We don't have to live this life. You don't have to be in this. Are you in? Okay. Fire in the hole. Let's go. And through that, you see that how much he does care about her, and he would not put this upon her if it wasn't what she wanted. But it's just kind of like,
it's almost like it felt like in some ways, and some felt like she radicalized him, right? Like, because he was kind of just like, yeah, we'll just go selling, blah blah blah, and and she's like, we gotta do something, and it's I like that conversation as well, where it's like you get a lot of anger, and it's like, we gotta wait till you know how to use it, type thing. And it's such a like fascinating thing about their relationship too, where it's like there is love there, is a father figure there, but also it doesn't escape the fact that he took part in the destruction of her, of her everything. So it's like, how does she manage that that seesaw of emotion, and that's why I think the end is so, it's so like, or the end for them together is so poignant and like and beautiful, because like it's like she is doing it out of necessity, out of even mercy for him, right? Like he's being kept alive, like it's not
for good reasons.
And not gonna get better, or like
it is merciful for what the ISB is going to do to that man.
Like, I think even then, it's like, I don't think it was ever getting better. Like, no. It's pure stupidity and arrogance from Dedra. Like, she's like, yeah, so I need him ready tomorrow. It's like, and they're just like,
she said that, I was like, sure, Jan.
Yeah. Like, he was like essentially vegetative. And so it's like, okay, well, it involves that mercy, but then I think that's like, that's where I was going with it. It's like, it's both matter of fact and merciful. So it's like, that is that sort of balances that love and hate, where it's like, she wants to do it for him, but she's also kind of detached from it being him and needing to just do the job, which is why it's like that little kiss on the forehead as she like is sort of like breaking down while doing it. It was something. I
wasn't okay.
Unwell. Also, but shout out to the grandma. The grandma in the elevator. The granny scatting. As
granny
the subtitle
says. She was everything. Played your part well, Granny. Welcome to the welcome to the rebellion.
Welcome
baby.
To the rebellion.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's stuff like that was really key in like breaking this up, and otherwise, oh my god, it's just such a like heavy, high stakes. Like the stakes are as high as they've ever been.
Yeah.
Because again, as we know from last week or the previous block, it's that idea of like, well, if someone gets caught, the whole thing goes down. So someone got caught, and someone had to do something about it. And she did. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else there's to say of this episode without going into like super duper detail. Because it was just really, really eye-opening to get that whole like span of their lives, kind of like tucked into this this last job together.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that they did it this way. It was so beautifully woven together. Also, because I've been sitting here this whole time going, who is this stone cold badass hanging around with Luthen, sitting over here in his funky wigs and goofy voices he's putting on?
Right.
Who is this? Who is this serious, down to business woman? And how'd she get up? And it's from the trauma from the beginning. Of course she's cold and hardened, and you know what? She's boss ass bitch is what she is. And no wonder she is the experience is like she never had a chance to be anything else. You know, it was from the minute that the Imperials landed on her planet. This was her destiny, and she was born for it, unfortunately. Fortunately for us, but unfortunately for a happy childhood, you know.
Right, and as we see, she's just as hardened as Luthen in terms of ready to die for it.
Absolutely.
Because it's like she's not calling them to get out. She's calling them to say, I have information that you need.
Girl, she almost didn't go at all.
Yeah, right.
She almost didn't go with them.
Too. The other thing too, it's like she wasn't asking for like she was just asking for anyone who like could have heard it. In terms of like maybe other people had those little boxes as well. But yeah, it was a really beautiful episode. And amazing work. And yeah, I mean, may as well take us into episode 11, which is
rescue baby. Mission.
Very important. Yep. So yeah, it is off in the safe house apartment we know well now. Tapping away, trying to get that going. And Wilmon, our boy Wilmon, who's I think like looking like a mechanic for the rebellion, got his legs not
a little limp,
quite back where it was. Yeah, but our boy's alive and working, helping out, and his girlfriend
still with his girl. Love that for
girlfriend.
him.
They were real, man. That's why you don't leave Gorman without your hot French blonde.
Without your hot French blonde. Yes.
That's just an important
good life advice.
Aspect. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're there. The radio's going off. She's like, "Oh, Wilman, what is going on? It's so disturbing. My beauty sleep." And am I wrong though?
It was really good.
Am I wrong?
It was pretty accurate.
and Will immediately goes into fuck mode, and then we cut in on CNK2 and
boys' night.
Yep, we are officially in the frat house.
Yes, poker night.
Yep. It's like that beautiful home Cassian and Bix built, and now it's just like, anywhere, whatever. Sleep on the floor. We got a droid walking around, a murder bot walking around.
Taking shots with their murder bots.
Is that a new game to Star Wars?
Yeah, that's not something I'm familiar with. I don't remember what it was. Hold on. We're going to
begin with an
out.
R, I think, but I don't quite remember the name.
Let me see.
It's like I think they said it was like inspired by like Mahjong and like
I could see that. There were tiles involved.
Tiles, yeah. Maybe a bit of dominoes, a bit of Mahjong type thing. But yeah, it's again, it's nice to have these like comedy beats of. It also was reminiscent of the Poe, Finn, and Chewie scene in Rise of Skywalker. So just having these two guys sort of like messing with the big non-human. But yeah, it's really interesting to see them like that, especially after last seeing Cassian with his heart torn out. And yeah, it's what do you? It's,
to quote the great Nick Miller from New Girl, you treat an outside wound with rubbing alcohol. You treat an inside wound with drinking alcohol. And that's what he's doing.
Encapsulated. Yep.
It's exactly right.
Man, would Nick Miller be in Yavin Base? With the bar being the obvious answer, where else would he be? Like, wouldn't be Tom's. He wouldn't talk to anyone.
I could see him in the mess hall in the kitchen of some sorts because he has to make the sauce, which has all the weird things in it. But somehow goes.
He's just making something continuously that nobody can eat.
Nobody can eat.
And they're just like, dude, when is dinner ready? And he's like, I'm working on it.
It'll be ready when I say it's ready.
Yeah. But literally all the other chefs are just preparing things for everybody. And they're like, oh, that's just
Nick.
That's just Nick's batch going over there. And but yeah, it's really interesting seeing him like that. And then of course Will comes in. Here we go. We got the message. Here's the box. What's in the box? It's the emergency message. Like the emergency of all emergency messages.
Yeah.
And so they kind of do their thing. I was really impressed at how quickly Cassian and Melshi snap into action.
Yes.
They were like let's not forget that. They
do not drink and fly.
Right.
Don't do it.
They were ready to go. They were like, Melshi, it's go time. And he didn't even stop. He was just like, yep, cool. Awesome. Which just makes that whole thing even better. It's like, of course, I think Cassian understood immediately the like severity of what was going on. Mm-hmm. But also the idea that they have been drinking.
Yeah.
Just adds that little element of like, it'll be fine. Let's go. Let's
fuck it, boys.
Go.
Let's ride.
In this party elsewhere. We're going to.
That's right. Shout out to the droid being our designated driver.
Yeah. We're going to stop Canto on the way, hit the slots, and then
hit the Taco Bell drive-thru and then get to Coruscant.
Exactly.
Also, cute little thing. Melshi was excited to see the bright lights of Coruscant for the first time.
Yeah, for
cute
sure.
Boy. I love him. Just everything he does, I'm in love with him. Okay.
Melshi's great. Melshi's one of those characters that it's like, if I was an actor, he's the tier of character I want to play.
Yeah, like, I could see that.
Like, it's like Melshi, like the current one I also think of the most is Carson Teva. In like the Mando stuff. Like that is the absolute perfect level of role where it's like, oh, you need me? Yeah, just plug me in here. Yeah, I can show up here. Also, I'm a pilot. Like, let's go.
I'm down. I'm down to help. Just throw me in.
But you're exactly right. Like Melshi is just that like perfect. If in the scheme Cassian is like technically a B, like under like Luke, Han, A's. Melshi's a nice like C tier, like perfect level. But yeah, like man, it's go time on Coruscant. And meanwhile the ISB is absolutely
also go time. It's go time for the ISB.
They're floundering. They are like, oh my god, he's dead. We got a blown up like hospital. Everybody's a mess. Big Daddy Krennic is called in for the scene with
iconic
with Miss Miro. It's really, really funny watching Orson Krennic in this and how much of a dick he is to everybody.
Oh yeah.
But we also know
warranted
for his job 100%.
Yeah.
But now with that ability to turn Rogue One on immediately, and we see him like it's just so funny. It's like when bullies know their level, right? Like,
immediately put in your Darth Vader gonna immediately put you down in pants that are not too big. Wait, and that he's gonna make sure your britches are the correct size. Not too big for him.
And that whole thing of like, well then the Emperor is gonna take my call, maybe, and like just pissed at Tarkin.
Such a snivelly bitch.
Yeah, when he's
no wonder Tarkin took it over too. I always remember being like, Tarkin, you opportunistic little shit, which he still is. Don't get me wrong, still is. But also Tarkin being like, remember how you fucked everything up and let everything leak? He's got more ammo to do that, in my opinion, post Andor. I was like, oh yeah. He's letting all the shit leak. You take it over.
Which again is another one of those little things where it's like that didn't quite mesh my head properly to Rogue One because Rogue One is so much about Bodhi as the leak.
Yeah.
When actually, in actuality, the leak much
leaks low.
They know they didn't get Clea, so it's like, and because Krennic knows Clea, and she's not off the board, so it's like it's just, again, it's just one of those things where it's like Bodhi's not quite just the leak. So I don't know if that's something with time you can sort of put together the bullshitting that's going on. But
it's like it's interesting because she is the rumor and he is the confirmation. You know, he is which is interesting because I guess he does come with the message. He comes with the hard evidence, at least. That's like, this is Galen. Here's my little hollow of me.
Right.
I don't know. That's how I think about it. Yeah.
No, I think you like figure it out for sure. But yeah, it's a mess over at SB, and Krennic has got Dedra in the same cell or at least same set. So we'll say the same cell that she questioned Cyril in last season. And so, yeah, that was an intense moment. That was definitely one of those ones where I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen to her.
Me either.
So yeah, it's like Krennic gets knows that she's just been, again, arrogant in her strategy and not reporting things that she knows she should have reported, and Lonnie was in on it, and blah 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 blah. What did you think about that concept of Dedra as the scavenger and sort of the way she owns that? Right? She ain't no Rey. I'll tell you that much. Though.
She's the dark scavenger.
She is a different kind of. She's a death ray as opposed to a Rey.
Yeah, truly.
But yeah, what did you think of that? Did you feel empathy for her in that moment?
No. I'm terrible. I think that it's just part of my thing because, like, part of my thing with the Empire is it's a double-edged sword because you have to be, if you want to make it in the Empire, if you have that drive for power, you can succeed in the Empire. That is what is required to get you at the very top. You got to be ready to take the advantages and maybe skirt around some rules in order to get what you need to get ahead. That is the system that they are teaching these ISB folks to do. Step on your coworker to get a leg up. You know, like that is something that is so ingrained in the culture of the Empire. Like, and that's something that people are rewarded for. Until you fuck it up. And then it'll be what gets you thrown in a prison cell in Narkina 5 in a cute little white and orange jumpsuit. And your bare feet. It's just one of those things where it's like, you gotta be careful. If this is what the system rewards, you step or be stepped. Congratulations. You screw one thing up, you're gonna get stepped on. And that's what you get. That's just what you get. Happens with everybody down the line.
No, it's
eat it.
It is that thing. Like and we see it with the guy who worked so hard to continually screw her over. Supervisor Hirt, who was her
he got hurt.
Former assistant. Yeah, exactly. Her former assistant, right?
Yeah.
And he did everything to undercut her.
And he becomes a shield. He becomes a riot shield for a droid.
Again, I love that. For a droid who cannot be shot at. Let's remember that. So
he just felt like picking this little tiny bitch up and using him as a shield.
Kay used that for fun.
For fun, yeah.
Right. Not for utility. So we'll remember that when, again, K2SO, we don't ask him where he was during the Gorman massacre.
We do not.
we don't talk to him about that, and we're
We
probably
do
not going
not.
to talk to him about the Coruscant apartment safe house either.
No.
But yeah, I think it was really also really like that sort of undercurrent of that the evil, as I think Chris calls him, the evil. Chris Swift calls him the evil like, be twink.
Yes, that's what Chris calls it.
Yeah, and he's like, make sure this is Fire's mess. Miro's mess. Miro's mess, right? Like again, like none of these people who like have any spine really. They don't take ownership of anything.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's a really like interesting undercurrent. But anyway, we get Cassian and Melshi and Kay to the apartment where Clea is. Meanwhile, the ISB is also mobilizing because the fangirl ISB agent kind of figured out how to help track their stuff.
I loved her. I just need
cool.
There is something, one of my favorite things, and obviously I do a Star Wars podcast, so this is something that is very clear. Nothing gets me more excited than when somebody is very, very good or very, very interested and knowledgeable in a super niche hobby. And that is that girl. I'm like, I would be friends with that girl if I was on Coruscant. Please tell me about all of the things they did and how genius it was that they patched it through, that she was living it. She was having a great time.
It was a real game recognized game moment, right? Like,
yeah.
And also a nice reminder again of Luthen's, I'm damned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. And like, just all these same through lines coming up everywhere. But yeah, we get this nice, like little crazy two things happening at once. The wrong floor little part of the story was funny.
Oh my God, that poor couple.
Yeah, I feel bad for it. Luckily, that's all that happened. Because
thank God.
With the ISB.
They shoot sometimes before they check.
Also, I want to say, like, for a bad guy outfit, the ISB tactical agents,
dude,
I find really cool.
Very cool.
And I think if you're like a wannabe 501st member, that feels like a really good like intro level costume to work in, because it's very cool. And you can tell they are bastards, right? Like,
oh yeah.
They're not just soldiers. They're like your black ops, like sickos. Like for lack of
sickos.
Yeah, they're the sickos. And so yeah, it's like you can only imagine what kind of weird stuff they got up to. But yeah, during all this time, Clea gives Cassian the message, which she isn't able to quite deliver with the same fluency as maybe Lonnie DeLuthen. We're playing a little bit of that game of telephone now. Also, she's been through a lot. Like, let's not forget that.
Girl has been up for 5 days. No, but she's been up. She just killed her dad. And she's been on the run.
So we're getting the pieces of it, which already creates the issue. It's a similar Rogue One issue, right? It's like we don't have the freaking thing. Like, the message is being passed along, kind of thing, and it's so
we
she's
need that hard evidence,
right? And Cassian's like, look, okay, like, yeah, sure, let's go. We got to get you there, and you can tell him, type thing. Yeah, because he knows who he's dealing with too, and so it's very tense. It's very cool. And it introduces this idea like really strongly about where the relationship is between Luthen Rail / the original gangster and what is now really the Rebel Alliance. Yeah. And it's I don't even know if like fractured is the nice word. Like fractured is a nice word for it. Like
very nice.
It's like non-existent. It's kind of like open. I don't even know what the right word is, but it's just like this pretty open like feeling of distaste towards each other, which again is kind of sad, and which also is a brilliant gets a ending, but we'll get there, of course. And so it's like, yeah, that was really heartbreaking for me, because it's one of those things where it's like, I love both these things. I love the Alliance, and I love these little goons who are like messing shit up for years. and it's sad to see them be in this place where it's like they don't want to deal with each other. Like,
why can't my friends just get along?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want.
I want us all to be able to go to the same party and have no drama. Okay,
Almost like
it's almost like we have.
Friends. It's almost like we have to have our first major successful military operation happen before we start like in any certain way.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it is really sad to see it. And in this episode, we'll dig into it in its worst form. But it's like,
yeah,
like how did you feel for the idea of Clea being like, I don't even want to go to Yavin? Like what did you think? What did you feel for her? Like, was it like fear? Like, oh, where would you go? Girl, what are you doing? Like, you gotta go.
Watching her
mental calculus.
Just watching her give up in that moment. That's what she wasn't gonna go anywhere. She was not.
And she's looking ragged too, right? Like, she's looking like she's been up for 5 days.
She's done. She's like, this is where I clock out, friends. I passed along the message in my thing. I'm clocking out. Is the vibe I got from her. I'm like, no, you need to live to fight another day, girl. You need to see what you and Luthen helped build. You need to see this incredible thing that you did. See with your eyeballs. And I get it. You guys aren't on the same page right now, but they will absolutely take you in, girl. You're fighting for the same cause. It broke my heart. She was so broken in that moment. It was all over for her in her mind. And I just...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it was like hard to watch. Like,
I was wanting to shake her.
Right. Because it was just that feeling of like, they really captured it perfectly through the arc of like, this is the end of the line.
Yeah.
Like we're about to have to play all our cards that end in Andor, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's just that feeling of like finality and like that it's all we had. Like, but luckily, I think Cassian I don't even remember now. Do they convince her to go, or does it just happen because she's not?
It just kind of happens. I don't think they don't convince her to go. She gets knocked out. They're there. They got to get her out of there. And that's basically what ends up happening. And it's so hard.
Because ISB shows up and they're at the door, which again, this is when the 3-episode drop at a time is perfect, because had that been a weekly end,
I'd be so pissed off.
Yeah. There would be some flying and whatnot. So yeah, that was clutch. And we get into now this like little shootout, which is entertaining because we have Melshi getting stopped in the hallway, and they're like, "Don't move," and then he just slips back. And so like, yeah, ISB's finest over here.
It's true.
And then of course Kay takes matters into his own hand. If a listener does not remember, as we didn't mention earlier, the ISB has put a comms umbrella sort of over the situation, so like they can't talk to each other. So Kay's like, okay, well, better go see what's up. And I love the people are like, did anyone order like a security droid to come
Hilarious.
in? Yeah.
Hilarious.
Like, no. And then he's just bashing their heads.
And I love them too, just trying to be like, shut down what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oop. No, not gonna happen that way.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yep. And oh my gosh, yeah, it's such a fun thing to get Kay. I've seen the horror of the security droids last episodes.
Yeah.
And we see that same horror again, but now it's good. Like now it's like funny. It's because also let's also mention K2SO's role in Andor now, as it was in, I feel like even more now. Like every line was comedy. Like he gave a comedy beat every line. He was so it was like much funnier. Even though he's carries so much comedy in the film as well.
Yeah.
But it just felt like it was more. I love all his things like, should I tell you how many regulations we're breaking right now? and he's like, following orders is so much fun. But yeah, he was great, and it's like watching the
needed
carnage. Yeah, exactly.
We needed it.
But like watching the carnage with that tinge of like, this is our funny guy doing it. It was so strange.
It's so twisted.
It's like Chopper war criminal level, like story beats.
In the rebellion, we stand a war criminal droid. Okay, you belong among us.
Actually, we need them. So like, the more the merrier. Yeah. So that was great. Kay saves the day from the ISB agents, and they get out of there. Which, thank goodness, because and base awaits, and we get home. We get home to Clea. We get her down. We get her patched up. But now it's time to deal with the higher ups, which is never usually a good scenario to be in. It's never usually the place you want to be. And Cassie has to present this information to the best ability he can to the council, minus Dodonna and Merrick, which is unfortunate because would have loved to see Merrick again.
Merrick, I know. The name drop, I was like, also them like, he would have just shot that U-Wing out of the sky.
Yeah.
It's like, exactly. I'm not man.
Right. But yeah, this is a really difficult scene. It's great. It's great acted writing, but it's difficult because, again, it's that situation where we are watching people we are on the side of being difficult.
Yes.
And also, in many ways, understandably difficult, which I think Cassian proves a really important piece of this puzzle. Because once he gets in there and they're all like, okay, cool, man. Like, what do we do with this? And we had this conversation about all this stuff and how none of you would even be here if it wasn't for Luthen, and just that again, that way the relationship has so been just torn apart that it's like they're like, well, yeah, Luthen was bound to get himself killed, so what can we do about it? And again, just that idea of like, can you guys show some damn respect? I love how he does that call out, especially because I think because we like Bale as a person, and Benjamin Bratt's a handsome bastard. It's like when Bale's being difficult, it's like I'm like, okay, that's okay, we'll work this out.
It's okay, Daddy Bale, you'll come around.
When the
that one guy, what planet? He's from a KOTOR planet, I think.
I forget who they
are. A KOTOR planet that sucks.
Yeah. Is he like Terrace or something? Or is
I think it's... No, I think that's him.
Okay. Yeah. And which is also great that they're both the same people from Rogue One. Yeah.
Yes, I love that they came back. He sucked in Rogue One. Still sucks now.
Still sucks.
Well,
again, it's a
great job sucking in both of them, you know? Yeah.
He doesn't arc too much in 2 hours, but
that stick was inserted up the butt before Andor, and it remains during Rogue One.
Yeah.
Thoroughly
but
up butt.
I love that part where Cassian is basically if you're not me or you're not Mon, shut the fuck up.
Yes.
about Luthen Rail.
You bitches don't know shit.
Yeah, and it's just
nothing. You showed up yesterday.
It's a really difficult scene because again, it's like I love this thing that has been built, and I like a lot of the people in it, who are doing it, but it's really hard to watch it come up against these people we've watched for now a long time and sort of have seen from from the ground. Exactly. And
Yeah.
and watching that respect not happen and not mutual. Like let's not forget the other side is also an instigator. Like
For sure.
Do you believe in any way Luthen made it easy? No.
Yeah.
Like so it's like it just goes to show. And that's why I think Cassian is such an important piece of this puzzle, because he leaves that meeting and I think he's talking to Clea, and if I recall correctly, he says something like, well, they're trying their best to. And I feel like that is a really important piece. And that's actually like, that's a criticism I felt really strongly with a lot of the writing that happened in like the Clone Wars with the Jedi Council. Because I feel like they made the Council way more antagonistic than I feel like the relationship is more like this. And there's no character in the Clone Wars to really be like the middle person who's like
Yoda.
No, but even Yoda's like in on it, right? Like he's in terms of like the treatment of Ahsoka, and like I think he's reluctantly, but it's like they don't go against each other. But it just creates this dynamic where it's like it's just Council versus Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not like, I don't feel like it's as representative when it's just like two sides. And I feel like I would like those beats more if they had a character like Cassian in that moment who can say, well, I mean, yeah, like that's their point and I can see it too, but like also, yeah, Ahsoka, you're right too. Like, you know, it's like, that's how I feel that beat. And I was really happy to see it here, because then I think it's too easy then without him being in that position to then have that like, well, fuck the alliance attitude, which I think is the wrong attitude to put in a show.
For sure.
Like, so it's like, I thought that was really important. And then it becomes, again, at the end with the scene with Bail, like it becomes really like crystallized in that moment as well. But yeah, basically the Council rejects Cassian, and
classic.
As you would, as a council would, it rejects our hero. You know, it's a common theme in Star Wars.
It's like poetry, it rhymes, you know.
enter person who is right, albeit probably difficult. Enter council, and who also has a valid point of view in many cases, but does
also difficult.
Rejects, and also difficult and rejects. That is how this thing goes. And so it's like, having they sort of had that. Mon, of course, he's the best, right? She's the least hot-headed. I think that's, again, it's that Bale's got that Latin fury, man. Like, you know, he's hot-headed in a way too, and also I think he's got more on his shoulders right now. I think the way it looks, it's like Bale is really if Bale and Mon are together, it's a good point.
Drag Rider. Why do we need them councils?
You know,
enter Rogue -1.
Yeah, there we go. Everything should be direct vote by the entire. But yeah. Also, shout out to Radis. Great to see Radis again.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, and yeah. So Mon, of course, reads the room better, and is able to go to Vel and get Vel to go to Cassian. Blah, blah. And we get that really sweet scene between them, because I don't think we've had a scene with them since Aldani. Since he's like, yo, I shot your boy outside. Here's his thing. Like I don't think they've ever like had that. And that was a really great scene to again just be like, man, look at everything we've been through.
Yeah.
As an audience too, right? Like it goes all the way back here, and it was a toast to the lost and everything. Yeah, that was really good. And Vel has that moment where she's like, yo, you talking to Bix at all? You know? Bix,
does she know? She's got to know.
I think she does.
She's got to know.
I think that's why she's like. Also, I need to talk to Charlie about this. We're going to fast forward to the end just for a second. Yeah. Just for a really, really, really brief moment. I need to talk to Charlie why I have not seen from him in my inbox a picture of Bix in the wheat field with a Weetabix like logo on top, like cereal logo on top. I need to have a serious conversation with this man. Where is my Weetabix box?
Get on it, Ashby. Oh my god.
If anybody watching this now or later has already seen someone do a Weetabix thing,
please tag us.
Send it our way. Because I need to see this. Weetabix. Anyway, no, rewind.
She knows she's preggo.
I think so.
Or, well,
I think that's
actually not preggo. With kid.
Oh yeah, because we're years later now, or a year later. It's I think she knows. I think that's why she's like
maybe you should find out that you have a son.
And before it's not too late.
Before it's not too late.
So yeah, and that was really, again, just these little things pulling at the heartstrings. Cassian being like, I don't know, she's safer without me. It's better.
Yeah.
It's like
but also he would leave. I think if he knew, he'd leave.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. It's hard to know exactly where his heart is, right?
Yeah.
Again, we'll talk later about this headcanon I created for myself. But Vel leaves, runs into Clea, and it's like, girlfriend, what are you doing? Because Clea's wandering off into the
girl,
let's
you a mess.
monster infested jungle.
Yeah.
So like Vel's like, come on, no, and gets her together, and sort of like allows her that ability to be like, I know everything, like, and I get it, but maybe just have a lie down, see how you feel later, right? Like
sleep on it.
Sage advice.
Yeah. For before making any major life decisions, take a nap.
Yeah.
Have a good night's sleep.
Exactly. And
evergreen.
Vel then communicates to Mon, I think, the like severity of it, right? Or her instinct on it being legit.
Yeah.
I think what's his face? Draven getting all this shit from Tivik like at the same time. So things are just starting to like mesh together, and everyone's a little pissed off, whatever. Cassian's back getting drunk again, and
as one does,
and it absolutely, and it looks like overall what happens is, all right, we got enough to take a look, and you go take a look, and you leave in 20 minutes, kind of thing.
Sober up, have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Again, a second row, like it's like, here's some cold water. Here's a some Pedialyte. Here's
Pedialyte.
Tums. Like, it's time to get
and
to
a
work.
piece of toast.
And this is the scene I really love, and I think it's that like really cements the issue of the relationship between Alliance and Luthen, and it's when Bale comes to his house, which is a crazy idea, but he like Bale just like shows up at his little frat house, and Kay does the that guy you don't like is here, which is great,
incredible.
But we get that little exchange where Bale's like, if I'm down, I want to go down swinging. Yeah. So it's time. Like, we'll let you go. We're gonna let loose a little.
Batter up, kiddo.
And I love the follow up of like you and Luthen are a lot similar than you think. And like I think that is kind of the thesis of the infighting subplot throughout the entirety of this thing. It's like, guys, like we're a lot more the same than we act like we are.
We're on the same side here, guys.
Yeah. Like we actually believe what we need to do. And it's like, and it is the idea of ego and saying, knowing where credit is due when it is due, and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, it's a shame that it had to get to this point where these two parties are one dead, one a day or two away from being dead. Like,
yeah.
And
an extra reason why that I want to go down swinging hurt my feelings. It's not a reason.
Right. which is also sad because it's like Alderaan couldn't really go swinging. Like there's no fight against that. But Bail got to at least sort of like
put it in motion.
No shit was going down. I feel like that's why he goes back in Rogue One, right? He's like, I need to go back to tell them that like war's coming, like it's on the horizon here. So Benjamin Bratt and Jimmy Smits both together have created this sort of like mosaic of Bail that I think really fits nicely, and I really want to like, I wish again like I had patience. I wish I had patience and the ability to do like edits of things. I would love to just like take Bail scenes and just stitch them together like chronological order and just sort of like watch a character that way. But yeah, I thought that was like just a key way to end that thing. And then Bail with the money shot. May the force be with you. Like, oh man, it felt good.
He did the thing.
It felt so good. And it's like it's those moments where I'm like, yes, I love when Andor is Star Wars. That makes me happy. and like that was great. And then I know we're skipping over something because what happened to so little homie her tries to like get Dedra's help, but doesn't help her out. I think actually the third episode is really mostly Yavin. I think it's not until the montage, really. Not until the montage. Oh, Nemec's message is out in the open.
This moment. If Nemec could see this moment.
Starting as voiceover and then transitioning into the audio of what's in the conference room was amazing. And the fact that Partagaz is and Partagaz is like, man, I wonder who that is. Like, who do you think it is? It's really special.
It's our boy.
The kid who got splatted.
The kid who got splatted. Yeah. It is. And actually, this was a really strong voiceover outro. Because we got a Marva in there too. We got, but yeah, Nemec's manifesto living on in all of our hearts and in the blaster bolt within Partagaz's skull.
Yeah, but again, it's a really interesting, like the psychology. I'd love a book of like the psychology of Major Leo Partagaz.
It's very seppuku.
Yeah,
you know,
and again, it's
I have failed. Like, I'm gonna.
And it's too where it's like he knows what's happened to Dedra now. If anybody knows the black holes ISB is capable of throwing people into,
I think he chose.
Yeah, I think he chose the easiest way out. But it's like also just interesting why he did that in general, or like, and why he was so like taken aback, like because you go back to his opening scene, which is like healthcare workers. We stop the sickness and we cure the things, and knowing that's his like outlook and coming to the realization that like, oh, this is I'm just the disease. It's like that thing is out there and there's no curing that.
Yeah.
Like, that's untouchable.
We've hit pandemic.
Yeah. The message can never be contained. Like it's one thing to be able to like off somebody here and there, but like if the message is out, that is just it's over. And I wonder, like,
it's hard to kill an idea.
Yeah, exactly. And Anton Lesser is such a good character, or such a good actor, that he's so able to say everything that we just talked about without saying anything.
With nothing, right? Not a word. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's such a good actor, and it's like just all those little realizations happening in his head, and then the little Munchkin supervisor coming in and being like, oh, it's time to go. I think I saw somebody comment. They're like, no wonder that like Empire got like worse at fighting in the rebellion when when like this is now the guy in charge of ISB.
Yeah.
Like the fucking guy who botched
Yeah.
the Mon Mothma Senate scenario.
So brutally.
Yeah. So
fail upwards.
There you go. Or it's like, is he even failing up? Is it just like who's left? It's like everybody's dying, getting thrown in prison. But yeah, it's like that was such a crazy moment. I think I would have expected that to be Partagas's fate.
Those Partagas sad puppy dog eyes.
Dude, he was
sad puppy dog.
Yeah.
No.
That is the look of somebody who just had their galactic view rocked.
Yeah. Defeated.
Yeah. It was also interesting. I love that little talk. I think it was episode 2, just to go back, but that little scene between here and Partagas where they're like, let's figure out Clea, and then him and Krennic have that little thing where he's like, dude, like it's a miracle we even covered this. Like, it's your fault really for taking so damn long. and then he's like, well, I can't help you. Again, it's just that Imperial, like they felt like they were in some way like friends, even like work friends, to say the least. But then that same like Imperial, like, I can't help you, bro. Like, dude, like it's that same cutthroat, like, oh well, sorry, bud.
Yeah.
And then of course that's where we end up with Partagas, where they were gonna escort him somewhere. To who, we don't know. Maybe to the Emperor. This is a guy who has meetings with the Emperor, so it's like, if he knew he was going there, I can see
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
That. Yeah, I can see that be the way out for him. And it almost reminded me of the Inquisitor in Rebels, right? Where he's like, there are some fates worse than death.
Yeah. And, peace.
And, yeah. So yeah, that feels again very in line for Imperial morale in the workplace.
Yeah. AC Dragon Rider says, I find it most illuminating how we both seem to have the Inquisitors go extinct by A New Hope, and now seemingly the ISB too.
Yeah,
it's scaled back.
It's a good point. I think is Gideon an ISB member? Moff Gideon. It makes you wonder to what degree it's just like deteriorated, because it doesn't play. Yeah, like it's a good point. Like it doesn't play, for obvious reasons, because we're reverse engineering here, but like it doesn't play a major role in the stories that I know of the original trilogy of this and that. But like it does work in that way, because it's the sort of security apparatus is broken. Like you can now imagine how more people start defecting, and more people, the message gets out like easier, and rebellion is rising all over in little pockets here and there, and like you can see how all that makes a lot more sense when the ISB and possibly the Ministry of Enlightenment, and by extension, like these people are not propagandaing the way they used to.
Yeah.
back when Leo Partagas was running the show. So yeah, no, it's a really interesting point. And hello.
Hi,
yeah, no, it's really cool and really like gnarly the way he goes out.
Yeah.
And then
he's going down with the ship.
Yeah. Speaking of going down with something, Dedra is sitting in her little cell thinking about
I saw
Cyril, maybe. Probably not, though.
Probably not. You know what's funny though? I saw somebody, this scene when they're about to beat the mother, and she's like putting this on, she's like trying to smile like a human being. Somebody photoshopped the Narkina uniform, and I died. I died. Thank you, funny. Internet. Yeah. Sometimes you're all right there, internets. Yeah. Dedra Miro is the epitome of you're gonna get what you deserve.
She played too hard.
Yeah.
Played too hard and lost. Like that's
lost.
The play hard and win. That's one thing. But like
karma's a bitch.
And I think
Karma's bitch.
it's such a like, and it's a really haunting final shot of her.
Yeah.
With the lights going off and then
distraught.
Yeah. And she just loses it. I think out of curiosity, based on how you think about Dedra's mind, do you think she's jumping on that floor, or do you think she's like girl bossing her way through the prison?
I don't know if she's girl bossing. I don't think she's jumping on the floor. I think that.
You think she's?
I don't think she's
like.
Yeah, I think that she is, from her upbringing, too much of a survivor to go out to try and go out that way. I think she's also someone who just refuses to quit. She looks pretty damn defeated here, but yeah, I think she's going to be taking her medicine, and she can take every dose of it.
It makes me wonder also, like, in terms of when Empire is defeated, and yeah, exactly.
She flew too close to the sun. So right, Brennan.
In terms of when the Empire is defeated, I'm always curious about this. Like, did the New Republic or even Rebellion, like, earlier days, ever find these prisons? Or, like, are these prisons just lost forever? Or, like, because obviously the galaxy is mega fucking big. So, like, it's not like you can just stumble into it. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, too. What happens... Because obviously, throwing somebody into a prison, depending on the reasoning, and locking them away for the end of their days for minor offenses is, not right. What do
generally frowned upon in a free society?
Generally is. What are they going to do when they find these prisons? Are they going to let these people go? Are they going to resentence them? What are they going to do? Because the new Republic, they also try and rehabilitate some of these ex-Imperial folks.
Exactly. That's part of it as well. And also it's like,
you leave Dedra in there.
Yeah, maybe she's not worth it.
Don't let her out. Don't let her out.
Although now I have to see a scene between Dedra and like Giancarlo Esposito. Like, dude, those two would be, again, like another diva
spicy
with another guy who likes to wear a cape. Like, it's like
that would be very triggering. Very triggering. Get these capes out of here.
That'd be funny. But yeah, I think it's really fascinating. Just the concept of her being there, the concept of the New Republic finding them, and like these are the problems they face, right? Like it's why it's so hard watching them in the Mandalorian.
So hard
because it's like they're trying to manage all this shit, because that's also the issue. Like I feel like that's commentary on our world too, when the fascist regime does all the bullshit they want to do, and then somebody who, like, while imperfect but serious about government comes in and is like, okay, well, let's start somewhere, and then it's just it's a quagmire of crap. And so it's like it's like that's the real issue for the New Republic. So it's like it is interesting to think about, if they find these persons, what do they do? Does somebody really sit there at a desk? Like does Colonel Tim Meadows sit at a desk going through files of like these prisoners?
God, I hope so.
Yeah, because that's the other thing too. That would be fun. That's what all his data cards are. And one of them is Dedra. Canon confirmed. Canon. That's what it is. I'm gonna call Alex Damon and have him declare it. And like, it's like, I really do wonder. And like Andor makes a really interesting point too in the arc of not saying why anyone's in there, but you're already on side of the prison break, because we know the Empire's bad. Like we stand in good reason to believe there were some shady ass dudes. Yeah. Like as part of that, right? So it's not like they're just locking up like innocent passerbyers, right? Like there's probably some kind of gnarly people in these prisons with your Dedra Miros, with your with
your Cassian
prisoners,
Andor mistakenly being
exactly,
the robber.
So when a legit government comes in and is like having to sort through this, it's probably hell.
It's probably a nightmare. Yeah.
And so yeah, no, it's super fascinating to think about. Yeah, in a few years, what happens to all those places, or do they even get found? Like,
do they get?
I'm really curious. Like, are they purged from records? Like who even knows? Yeah.
How
fascinating stuff.
Secret is it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess we found out our little delightful montage that ends the series. As Cassian is swag walking his way to the U-Wing. We got a mission to Kafrene. Something we actually didn't quite anticipate is Force Healer coming back. I think we were like, yeah, it's probably not coming. It's probably a one-time thing. But there he is.
Knowing look on the way out too.
Catching her eye. They know something's going on with life. So we see them together. We see Clea waking up and sort of taking in the reality of what they had worked on and had come to fruition and all that. And with a slightest smile. I think someone, it might have been Tony Gilroy or someone else, called it the Mona Lisa smile. Of Clea.
That's the best you're getting out of Clea.
Yeah. Like just that idea of like, okay, I'll take a look. Like type thing. And we see Mon with at the outdoor tables with the grunts. That's a perfect last shot for her. And then Melshi with Pow. Shout out Pow hanging out.
We had a Pow sighting.
I'm so glad he was in it. It's one of those things where it's like it would have been stupid for him to not be in it because it must be so easy to like.
Come on, just stick him in there. He's Pow.
Like we needed Pow and or Bistan, so it's like
is Bistan the monkey?
Yeah.
We needed one of those two. We got Pow though.
Yeah, absolutely. So
incredible.
So yeah, that was a great little part of the soldiers coming together, and again, just the idea of the alliance being the great thing that it is, of all these different species and communities and people coming together to be one thing, and seeing that soldiers training as one was really cool, and Wilmon, the lover and the fighter. There he is.
Love our boy.
He's probably have some escargot with his with his Gorman honey. Mon chéri. And that is a ending for him I would never have guessed.
I thought he was a goner from the start.
Exactly.
From the first arc, I'm like, oh no, he's dead.
Yeah.
He did.
They did a really good job at like picking the people to live and not live that I wouldn't have predicted. Like I wouldn't have predicted Vel.
It was surprising.
Like I wouldn't either. I thought Vel was gonna go down. Yeah, like it's really interesting and really interesting to think about these characters in terms of like where they might go. Like because in terms of like, comics are about to be super active in this Jakku era, right? It's like it stands to reason that Mon Mothma's cousin made through to this point, like we could literally have a panel at some point of like Leia being like, I'll go ask Vel. Like that's something I never would have imagined like happening. But yeah, no, exactly. And it's really interesting. Were there other shots to this ending that I can't quite remember? Oh, Saw and Jeddah is a big
Saw and Jeddah's big.
Krennic looking at the Death Star is very cool. And then and
then the big one.
you tell me because I've forgotten it now.
The final.
Oh, the end one. Yeah. Okay, so how do we end? Cassian, K2 fly off, woo, and then back to Mina Rao for a delightful re-inclusion of B2.
Oh, wait a minute.
Having fun.
Has a friend.
He has a friend.
Playing tag, running around fancy free. That's all I've ever wanted for B2.
Yeah. He never got to see Cassian again, but he's
I
happy.
Hated that, but
he's got his kid.
He's got his son.
Kid. That's almost better. Like the fact that B2 now gets to be protector for Cassian's kid is wonderful. But that's the care. That is it. That is Bix walking into the field with the child. Was it said? Is it a boy? Was that ever confirmed? I never saw.
I don't know. I never saw anything like that. Everyone seems to assume that it's his son, but
I saw a few things like blue blanket.
Cute
so
kid.
It's a boy. I'm like, well, that's a little gender normative, if I say so myself. But yeah. Anyway, the child, baby Andor, is here, and it's a really beautiful ending, and sweet and bittersweet and all those things roped into one. But it's also exactly like the thesis of the show, right? Like and Star Wars, like it is about that inkling of like what you're fighting for and what you're protecting and all those things. So like that's how the show ends. With that.
And it is so true that in the end, one of the best quotes in the entire series from Luthen, I burned my life to create a sunset I'll never see. I'm paraphrasing it. I think I've misquoted it.
Sunrise, I think.
Sunrise, I'll never see. There we go.
Yeah. But we got, that's exactly
we got a sunrise on Cassian's sun rising. Literally, like he will not see that. Cassian will not see this sunrise, but his son will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What feelings, man?
It's pretty incredible, and it's funny because I'm sure I take no claim that I was alone in this, but I threw it out there. I was like, "Baby Andor," and
you did,
and I walked it back in my head always because I was like, "Is Tony sentimental enough to do that?" and funnily enough,
by God, he was.
Well, what's really funny is Tony Gilroy talked about it, and he used the exact same word, and he said, "I almost didn't because I thought it was too sentimental," and it was literally they were literally filming it, and he's like, "I'm gonna look at it, and if I think it's too gooey, I'm gonna cut it, and if not, well," and he's like, apparently his brother, the John Gilroy, the like editor / producer, he's the one who was like, "It's good. It's good. Like you done good."
Also, that's so Star Wars. What is more Star Wars than holding a baby over the sunrise? Sometimes there's two of them. You know, like
that's what it's about. That is the hope. Like
it's the new hope. It's the next generation of the Beebs. Come on now, that's so Star Wars.
Now, also in my we're talking. I'll get to my big head canon. My little head canon now is the U at the Battle of Exegol is Bix and the kid. That's my tier head canon. Is there, which is it's like the epic thing about the Battle of Exegol and how allow an infinite possibilities of who's there, right? Like it's such a great thing. Like we see the ghost, obviously we know the like novelizations, like the fireball is there, but it's like we sit here and we believe, we're like, oh, Mando and Grogu, they're there. You know, like
they're chilling out there. Yeah.
They joined in. Razor Crest 2 is somewhere in there. And then now it's just these little things. The fact that there's a U-Wing, that was really cool. But now it's like now I feel like I can plug these two in here and it feels really right. Mm-hmm. So I love that. I love the ability to do that.
You know what my new headcanon is? I have a baby headcanon. Literally, because it's about the baby.
Go for it.
And his name is Arturito Andor. Little Arthur.
It's like
Arturito.
It's just like Cassian would always say this name, and
he would always say this name.
He would say, so sweet, so humble. Yeah, I love that. I love that video too. It makes me so happy.
I do too. It's so cute.
Which it also made me happy because I also use R2 as my Disney Plus profile pic. So I felt it deeply.
He's a man.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's the end. I guess I will now. I've teased enough. I'll talk about my big headcanon. So my big headcanon, one of my biggest problems with Rogue One is when Jyn gives her speech with the rebellions are built on hope line put in. Mm-hmm. There's no acknowledgement of Cassian being there and seeing that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is like, to me, that's like insane that it's not there, because then I'm like, then you don't connect the fight to I'm ready to fight with you. Like, yeah. It just goes from them arguing to him being like, yeah, I don't believe you, but whatever, let's go. And like, I feel like you really, really need that reaction from him, hearing her say the thing he said to her, which is also a passed on line now that we know. Yeah. And so like, that was always one like big thing. Like I never understood why it was that way in Rogue One. So that's problem one. And then, or that's piece one rather. Piece of the puzzle one. Second piece is Vel saying, maybe you should talk to Bix. And putting that in his head. Yeah. So now my headcanon for Rogue One. They get back to base and Cassian's at his like lowest ass point. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And like, so where is the most important place? Like, if he's not in that meeting, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah.
And in my head, he heard Vel and he said, you know what? I'm going to Bix. And he calls Bix in that moment while Jin's giving her speech. And he does meet his son. This is what I believe. I believe he does meet his son. And that is what galvanizes him to say, if I give up now, I will never forgive myself. Because he sees that he has a kid. And he has a kid and he has a chance to... I gotta
save the galaxy for my son.
Yeah, he knows that his son is here. And he knows that he has somebody to fight for. Like, that is his blood. And so that, I think, it just sort of mushes all these issues and new information together for me. Where I'm like, again, it's like, he better be somewhere important if he's not pulling Jyn at. And then it's like, then it gives him that fire in the belly to say, I have a shot here to really take the Empire down or take something big down. Like, I don't know what they really thought the full thing was, but like, and I have a reason to do it that I didn't have, an hour ago. And so like, and then it also gives that, it gives me some, I think people find the bittersweet side of it appealing, but I think to me, it's more, I think it's really powerful to me to think that he knew what he was fighting for when he died. And he knew what he was fighting for on the beach.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like the thing I really enjoy now thinking about as happening. So headcanon stamped, confirmed for me.
Stamped. And I like it.
On Cassian knew his child was alive.
I like that.
Yeah. So that just adds a whole lot of layers in for me that I really, really dig with these characters. But yeah, I mean, gosh, any final thoughts about this arc? I think we may, because I've seen for these past few episodes, Charlie has not been here.
Yeah.
Which is because of our recording time and just sort of like the situation he had with his connection and stuff. He should be better now, but
his technical issues should be resolved. But this would be like 4 in the morning his time, so we're not. Yeah, but we do want to do a big series recap with Charlie
for sure. Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
So I think that'll be that. It probably won't be a live. It'll probably be like a standard podcast kind of release. But so I think we can save comments probably for like
the
overall series.
For sure.
But how did you feel? I guess overall thoughts on the final block 10-12, season 2.
I didn't know what they were gonna do. I was like, well, we know where we end up. How are we gonna get there in this time? Boy, it was perfection. I mean, they nailed it. They stuck the landing. We had so many of my queens survive. Girls who run the Andor series, girls. That's who. They run the world.
I think did someone make that point in one of the was it Gilroy in like the Declassified where he's like, really when you look at it, it's like these 5 women.
And I didn't watch that.
I can't remember where that was. If it might be the Declassified, which are always great if anyone's missed them. They're in the extras tab on Disney Plus, and they for every block. So if you have missed those, go watch them. But yeah, I know that was talked about somewhere. I know it was like looking at Dedra and Bix and Vel Mon, like just sort of like that's like is the nucleus.
Yeah,
it's called Andor, but but as of course the man gets the credit.
And Clea, don't forget Clea.
Clea is the one. Yeah, Clea's
they're gluing the rebellion together.
Yeah.
The one staying behind to keep it together.
Yeah, no, it's really powerful. And yeah, Bix lives. There you go. Bix lives. Truthers survived the game. I'm pleased. I'm really happy because it's like I feel like it would have been too hard to stomach. I think
awful
watching her go through all and then have a death scene. No. It's like, oh my god. So Bix fought at the Battle of Exegol with her child and her and Cassian's child. That is Imperial Senate Podcast confirmed.
That is totally canon.
So they're in the U-wing. So whenever you have the Battle of Exegol on our eyeballs and you see the U-wing, you know who it is. Up. Yep. And I think one of my comments, I think sort of to wrap up 10-12. I think Andor, specifically in these episodes, a little bit just throughout, it really nailed down on how absurdly villainous the Death Star is, right? And I think that's something that did get lost, or not lost, but like a little bit forgotten, because there's a thing like when you make your first movie and your stakes are our thing is a planet killer.
Yeah.
When you start with planet killer,
it's
kind of hard to up the stakes on that, right?
Yeah.
Which they do. We got a system killer, we got a Death Star 2, we got all these things, blah blah blah. So it's I think with all that escalation, needed escalation, or I guess people can debate whether it's needed, but with that actual escalation that happened, I think we did let it get lost in the weeds how absurd it was that the Empire built the Death Star. Right? Yeah.
That this is a thing at all.
Right. And so for them to, in this show, and especially this arc, really tie in, it was this, and it was all cut up, and this monstrosity was being made.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. And there's a scene where before we Lonnie's body, we get that sideways shot of Luthen going down the stairs, and he's now got all this information in his head. And I love that shot because it's it really sets in how, again, fucking absurd the Death Star is. How absurd it is as a item of evil, right?
Yeah.
And it is, as we know, it is made to have just instill fear. It is the system of governance. That is what it is, a galaxy governed by Death Star. That's what it is. I mean, our podcast famously gets deleted in the movie after. And it's that's that's why, because the Death Star is here. And so it's like, I think this arc did a really, really cool job. Again, the show in general, but this arc specifically at again, just showing how, oh my God, what is it like to hear that that's a thing being made?
Yeah.
And it's like, they can barely even deal with it. Like even Clea is telling Cassian, she's like, it's a weapon. It's a, like she's flustered. When do we see her flustered? She did the whole thing with the bleeding hand with a smile on her face.
Yeah.
And she's losing her shit.
Did not crack. Yeah.
Yeah. She's losing her shit at this idea. And it's like, and again, just that so ominous shot of Luthen walking down those stairs, because we as an audience know what he's heard. And before we've seen Lonnie. Also, shout out to the Lothcat pics.
I know. Kitty cat out of their body.
That was adorable.
Adorable.
But if you don't have anything else to add for the arc, if there's nothing else, do you want to do the MVP for the arc?
Yeah. This is hard.
This is a hard one. It really is. But
this is really hard.
Who's in your head?
For single-handedly making sure that information got back to the rebellion. K2SO is my
and MVP. Being a funny murder bot.
Thank you for bringing the levity we needed, because we were all stressed as hell. For making sure that our friends didn't get killed there. Don't worry, they'll get killed in a couple minutes later. So, getting that info back to the rebellion, all you need is a murder bot with a sense of humor. K2's my guy. Yeah. I just also, like, we didn't get a whole lot of him. Like, we got a little snippet. But the full Alan Tudyk back.
Every scene counted. Like
every word.
They made every part of it counted.
Yes. I wish it was more, of course, but it was worth it. And they utilized him so well.
Yeah. It's a great choice. And yeah, it's great he's in the story as well. And yeah, so vital to it again. So yeah, that's shout out to them. I think for my MVP, I am going to go with the original gangster himself, Luthen Rail.
That's right.
Whose sacrifice was made. He knew where he was. He knew the position he was in, and he did not hesitate to do what he always knew would need to be done.
Yeah.
So
not without getting a few jabs in first. Right. Which we love him for.
Exactly. That was perfect. And yeah, like I think again we see the fruits of his life and labor by the end, and Clea sees it and clocks it, and it becomes really, really real to everybody involved, the characters and the audience. Like that guy we saw show up in Ferrix to try and recruit this guy. Like he kept that alive. And he allowed it to live by sacrificing himself. So yeah. And then it's just like all these characters that are linked through him who, are incredible. And, Clea, Mon, Cassian, Vel, like they are all here because of him. And yeah, I think he's he'll be the MVP choice. I think I'll go with for this last arc. I think he had his thing, and it was magnificent in all its sadness. But yeah, and then how about what quote really stuck out to you for this block of episodes?
There's a couple of them, if I'm being completely honest.
A lot.
There's really, a lot of good ones. Yeah. I loved everything about the Luthen and Clea flashbacks. So I think I'm going to have to go with we fight to win. That means we lose and lose and lose and lose until we're ready. All you know now is how much you hate. You bank that, you hide that, you keep it alive until you know what to do with it. Yeah. That just...
Yep.
Mic was dropped. Message received.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lie dormant until we strike. Let's go.
Yeah. That's what I love, those kind of moments. There's a scene that, or a part of the book, I should say, that fans of the Game of Thrones novels may remember, in Feast for Crows. It reminded me a lot of this scene where Doran Martell, who's the head of Dorne, who in the show is not very relevant. They really don't engage with this part, but he goes on this speech of how like he's like Oberyn Martell, who is the Mandalorian for fan connecting the dots. He's like, Oberyn Martell is the Red Viper. And you know, all people, and what does the Red Viper do? He strikes, he's flashy, he's whatever. And people think all I do is shield him. And they're like, and yeah, so like what am I? I'm grass. And the grass hides the intentions, and it allows the snake to wait to then strike, kind of thing. And I probably didn't like summarize that perfectly, but it really reminded me of that. Yeah, it reminded me of that scene in and with Luthen, and just that idea of like, no, patience is good. Like, we're gonna do this the right way. We're not gonna be messing around, because when you're doing that, you're the Maya Pay Brigade, you know. Yeah. Or even at best, you're the partisans, right?
At best, like, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be huffing Rido. You want to huff Rido, Clea? So yeah, no, that's a really cool scene. That's a great quote to pick, because I think, to your point, like I think the easy one is that there's a whole galaxy to discuss you. Kind of that exchange, I think, is probably the keynote. But I'm also not going for that. Yeah, it's a good quote, but the one that really stuck out to me was with the same characters, and it was just promise me if it doesn't look perfect, you won't engage. I think you used up all the perfect.
That moment, everything, like the air escaped all of, like it just whoosh, I just lost all of the air in my lungs when he said that the first time. I was like, oh, no, you're right.
It's the first domino of like, oh, we're really in. And again, the way that the show's been so good at it all season long, of using just one or two lines to show what the year we've missed has done to them.
Yes.
And the year that has passed since we saw them let Mon go, or get Mon out of Coruscant, it's probably been really hard and rough. Really dark, and like they've had probably a lot of close calls, and I just love that acknowledgement of like, I don't know if we've got like, I don't know where the clock is. I don't know, like we kind of just have to take this, because if this is important enough, we have to do this. And yeah, just that idea of like, we've reached the end of our rope, and just saying it as, I think we've run out of, like, that was just a really good moment. And then the part I didn't include is the move. But like that as a sequence is like with the gap and then move. Like, it was so good. And just sad. Like it's sad watching the heroes be at the end of their rope. Yeah. But man, what a friggin' finale. I'll tell you that much.
They did the damn thing.
Yeah.
They stuck it. That they did.
Man. I don't know if we've got a whole lot else to say. So it's probably a good time to wrap it up. Yeah. I think I will too. It's gonna, stand the test of time. It's gonna have its messages will always sadly be relevant. As all Star Wars messages are. And it's like, it's gonna be missed in terms of just the level of engagement we were able to have with it, and it'll be nice to rewatch it also with some distance.
Yeah,
but
I need a minute to breathe. Also, thanks, Laughable Larry. You're always a joy to have in the chat. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you so much. What a delightful in the profile photo.
Kitty cat.
There we go.
Love cat.
It's not named Pix by chance, is it? I don't think we have a whole lot else to add, but we will do a sort of overall episode for the season, the series, whatever we want that to turn into. So of course we
stay
will
tuned.
We will be pondering our stuff. Until then, if there's any last minute questions or comments, get them in. While Claire, while we let them do that, why don't you go and say where cool places to find you are?
Absolutely. So you can find me across Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok sometimes, mostly Instagram. I'm everywhere at CStribs. You can follow me on Broaxium as well, so be sure to follow Broaxium. On Tuesday nights, now that Andor is over, BX Gaming is going back to its Tuesday night slot. So tomorrow night, Roke and I will be going live at 8 p.m. Central Time and playing Uncharted, which has been a delight. It has been a delight. So come hang out in the live chat for that. BX Gaming, our chat is always super fun. A lot of goofy ass people. We have a great time. And then, of course, we do our Sunday night weekly Geek Roundup. It is the Poodoo crew. So come hang out with the crew Sunday nights. And yeah, but just follow me for all of our updates along the way. How about you, buddy?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Nictopher. That's Nictopher, as my friend neighbor used to call me. So that became my little code name. And
I never knew that.
You can, and then the other good one on Blue Sky, you can find me at Nequitius, which is what my 4th grade teacher called me one time.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
that's where Nequitius comes from?
That's where Nequitius came from, and it just stuck, and it was delightful. So
that is delightful.
I'm keeping it. That's Naquicious. Then Yubnub Club will be on the podcast feed. I am almost through this insanely wild 2 months that I've had. I got one more week left, which will culminate on my birthday on Saturday.
I know,
so,
isn't that? It's
I'm
almost
excited.
your birthday.
I'm going with friend of the show, and Disney insider / park employee, Josh Woodbury. We're gonna go to Disneyland.
Yay!
I'm gonna get a birthday pin.
Please give Josh a hug from me.
I will. My sister's also visiting. She's at a conference in LA. So I'll just stay a week.
Yay!
So yeah, do that. And actually, you know what? One quick thing. It's a little bit of moisture farm, but I wanted to mention this because it just happened. I was just at my friend's wedding this past weekend. He's on the show, so I won't name drop him. But he I was the best man at the wedding. I was very busy, doing a lot of stuff. But he asked his groomsmen months ago. He was like, "Hey, what's your favorite Star Wars character?" And he asked us independently, so it just looked like he was just asking about it.
Yeah.
And me, of course, being me, I gave him like a list of 10, and I don't think they were very helpful. Like, because it was just I was like, "Oh, you like Speen Ren, Poe Dameron." It probably got down to like Hondo Onaka, it was probably like all these things. And then he was like, "Cool, awesome."
Cool, great. That didn't help me at all, but awesome, dude.
And then I was like, and also let me tell you about the Anzellans. So like it probably like just absurd. Anyway, all that to say, I did not give him a direct Star Wars character. Fast forward to the wedding. We're the morning of, we're getting ready. He specifically asked us to wear shirts for cufflinks, and then he distributed box of cufflinks, and homie 1 opened them, and they were BB-8 cufflinks because he had told my friend BB-8. Then homie 2, I was reading a card inside it. Homie 2 opened it, and his was Chewbacca because he told his friend Chewbacca, or he told my friend Chewbacca. That it got to my turn, and I was like, "Oh, that's why you were asking," and I didn't tell you anything. Like I was like, giving like animated characters. Like they're not gonna make cufflinks of animated
You're not gonna
characters. But my friend knows me so well. he absolutely nailed it. I opened my box, and they were Rebel Alliance insignia cufflinks.
Beautiful.
So I have these beautiful Alliance Starbird cufflinks that I will use forever.
I love that.
But yeah, just
also very thoughtful.
Yeah, no, it was very cool. Star Wars became I think that gave me permission also for Star Wars to become a thing, and I ended my speech with "May the Force be with you." So
as you must. It
just felt right. But anyway, yeah.
And just so you know, Laughable Larry, we still need to do our Tales of the Underworld. We're going to talk about that at some point. We're also going to do a full Andor recap. Any new Star Wars stuff, we're going to be talking about it on the podcast. So don't you worry.
Here's the thing, folks. Visions is not until October.
Yeah, we got time.
So we have a whole summer of going over celebration stuff. I know I'm going to break a lot of that down during the Up Club.
I bet.
So yeah, I'm going to try and get in the weeds on some of that. But yeah, we'll cover Tales because I also could use watching them again. So
darn if I have to.
A little more time. So we'll end with it. We'll do another Andor stuff, which give him a chance to talk about it as well. And then we'll dig into Tales. We'll dig into news. You guys know the deal. It'll be cool.
Lots of them, Lair. Lots of them. Lots of shows.
Absolutely. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be around. But it was fun getting not another Imperial mining disaster up and running for season 2. Because
fitting.
It's been nice. Yeah, and it's been nice to stay in season with something. I think that's kind of the beautiful thing of when a show is happening. It really allows us also be cool, we have a schedule.
Yeah.
Type thing. So yeah, this has been fun. I don't know how many lives I can commit to because my computer hates StreamYard apparently. So we'll see. But
we'll figure it out. We'll do something.
But yeah, podcast.
And of course, we're gonna do game day. We're gonna do game stuff. We do Quiplash from time to time. We do all sorts of fun stuff so just follow the Imperial Senate Podcast wherever it can be followed for updates on what we're doing because there's gonna be fun stuff. Don't worry.
100%. It's gonna be so good, and your contributions will be epic, as Luther once said. So stay tuned. Thanks for being on the shows with us and keeping us on our toes, and we'll look forward to sharing more with you throughout the rest of the year. So I guess with that, we'll go ahead and call it a day. Call it close the curtain on Andor. Final block of episodes, but we will be back a little more. But until then, may the Force be with you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.